Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are you guys doing tonight? Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. Sorry, I got like all these thoughts going on in my head. What a day, man. Um, yeah, thinking about, I'm just so bothered by all the gaslighting. The more that we see Candace uncover, and even things that Barron covered tonight, similar things on Erika, statements she's made. An honest person doesn't lie and say 6 months and then 8 months and I did this and I did that, but it's different every time. It's so blatantly obvious that she's extremely dishonest. Her childhood and her history, her personal history, her own history is extremely suspect. And that's not even speaking of her mom's and other members in her family's history. Listening to Barron tonight, when he played that clip of him, which was oddly prophetic regarding Trump, looking at where we are right now, as of Saturday, in war. We're at war, no matter what they try to tell you. Rubio, we struck them because we knew once Israel struck them, they would strike us, so then we struck them. Yeah. Flawed. Horrible logic. I definitely think that Trump was able to fool all of us. What does that say about Charlie? Could Charlie have been just as duped as all of us? Yeah, I'd say so. Does it then follow that he was part of some secret society in on the whole thing? No, not at all. That Erika Kirk and her mom, when in Philly, sorry, I already said it once. I don't want to say it too many times. When she saw Charlie for the first time, she was there with Lori. She was there to find a husband and almost met him. You look at the ties, Lori with Carol Farnsworth's family, Tyler Boyer's family, and you really think Charlie wasn't surrounded? You think these individuals, where their families have ties for decades, if not generations, working on a common cause together, Lori and the Farnsworths and the Boyers, that they couldn't all have been in on something that Charlie wasn't in on? I'm beginning to think even more conspiratorial thoughts than I was already thinking. We'll look at some clips of Charlie, but many others have already been bouncing around. And I recommend to anyone, before they scrub Real America's Voice and before they completely change with AI any previous statements he made in any of his lives at his show. Here's the crazy thing, guys. So I didn't watch a lot of Charlie's like office shows, like the ones from TPUSA headquarters or the ones from his house. I watched a lot of his like public events, the campus tour events and, the Prove Me Wrong events and some of his major speaking events, or when he went on like the PBD podcast or Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly. But what I was completely unaware of, his own personal shows didn't have a huge audience. If you go back and look at June and July of last year, his views have like of his show like 2,000 views, 4,000 views max. Max. A couple hundred likes. Like kind of what my channel does right now. That his reach just in the summer of last year was about what my channel's doing right now. That's crazy to me. I don't know. I just always assumed that all of his videos and platforms were as, widely distributed and widely viewed and widely received and liked and loved and shared as his other events. Now that it kind of hits me, yeah, I didn't go back and watch those events. And when you do go back and watch those, they're much more political in nature, but there's a lot of good gems. And I recommend people help me out. Let's go back and find Charlie Kirk in his most authentic moments before they scrub everything. Because I've already found a couple things. But go look at Turning Point. Go look at, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, Tyler Boyer, Jack Posobiec. Go look at their views now. Look at it now. Wow. Charlie's death benefited them in so many different ways. And in any investigation, you always are looking at those that had the most to gain across a couple different areas. Financial, who took over the business, also who had the most to lose if he stayed where he was at. And of course, all of those individuals are the ones that we're looking at and that no one is investigating. And then I look at people like Gary, Melton, Lisa, Nose. Okay. We're looking at these clips that Candace is bringing out, and I'm finding of Charlie, and Barron's finding of Erika Kirk and statements she's made and her history. And they would like us to believe that we're evil, that we're slandering, we're gossiping, that we're not being Christians. Give me a break. We are the pinnacle of creation. God gave us reason, logic, consciousness, awareness, free will. We are set apart above everything else in this kingdom. But they would have us defer our highest faculties to these people. Trust the science, they say. Trust us. Nothing suspicious here, they say. This is a just war. We're doing it to bring democracy. We're doing it for the people of Iran. All of it. From the moment he was taken from this earth, just look back from September and everything that's happened. What would be happening right now if Charlie was still here? What would he be saying? What would he be doing? To me, that shows they had the most to gain and lose. They had to get him out of the way. So, I'm a little on fire tonight. I'm so tired of people gaslighting all of us, friends, family, strangers. None of us are attacking Erika personally. I'm not. Candace isn't. Barron's not. because TPUSA is strategically placed right now to affect the future of the country in such significant ways. It already is. It has such a reach on the future generations of voters for decades to come. We have every right to look into whoever we want who is running or working for a company or an organization like that, let alone one that claims to be Christian, one that we are subsidizing them because they're a nonprofit, tax exempt. So everyone can just stop. That's it. Just stop. All right, let's get into it. All right, here we go.
Because now all of the characters that we've introduced to you are in place. You understand kind of the story that we're telling here. I wanted to let you know that we did receive a flurry of emails about Erika's missing year, also a lot of comments. And before we get there, I can tell you, we can confirm now that Erika did attend St. Ursula Villa up in Cincinnati, Ohio, but she attended what we can document for kindergarten. So that was before she went down to Arizona. We have that photo for you guys here. This would be from 1994 to 1995. And you can see her, just for funsies, her name is spelled differently. It's with a C. Clerical. It's a clerical error, another clerical error. They're all over. But I wanted to let you know, we thus far, no one with a yearbook at St. Ursula Villa has been able to confirm her for 2000 and from 2000 to 2002. So those years are still technically missing. I thought that was where she was for those years, but maybe we had it in reverse. We're going to keep.
You guys, no normal American citizen on average has this many discrepancies, gaps, issues in her history, in her timeline, with her birth date, with her family, where she's born, medical records, everything, her parents' records. What is going on? The percentage that all of these things are all just clerical issues, little mistakes like Lisa would have you believe, Gary, oh my gosh, they're nitpicking. This happens all the time. Not mine, not my kids, not my wife's, not anyone I know, let alone someone that's part of families whose mom has deep ties to the military industrial complex, to the Marine Corps itself, to political organizations, to political figures. And it's not like we just out of nowhere, we're like, we don't believe this person. We are just at the start super suspicious of her. No, it was like we didn't know anything, and we just were like, Charlie's wife. Okay. She looks Christian. She looks like a Christian woman. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what she does. Let's see what she says. Charlie was a person that said everything's based on merit. It's a meritocracy. You earn it or you don't. He didn't like it when people were given things because of their gender, because of their race, because of who they knew, who their parents were. I don't think he'd even like this on that principle alone. And on that principle alone, I think he would never have said, just because you're married to me, you should get to take everything over. That's not merit. What in her history and her experience and education besides meeting him in 2018, marrying him, and having his children, did she do that prepared her to effectively run an organization like this? Did she have anything similar to Charlie's life? No. That alone. That alone. But then you start to remember, what about also the public statements that Erika and Charlie made together about the role of a husband, a Christian husband and a Christian wife, and a Christian mother and a Christian father? What he felt the roles were specifically for their importance for the nuclear Christian family, but also for the betterment of society. Because when the family breaks down, society breaks down. When fathers aren't home, families break down. When moms aren't raising their children, and I know all of us aren't in the place where, and it really is a gift, and it's so sad that society has lied to so many women that being a stay-at-home mother is not a gift and a blessing. It is. Most of us don't have that luxury, though. I get that. But he said, if you did have that luxury, you better take advantage of it. And Erika and Charlie did have that luxury. And Erika still has that luxury today. She did not have to take over TPUSA for money. She did not have to take over TPUSA to carry on Charlie's legacy. She's not the only one, like Lisa would have you believe. Lisa knows, would have you believe, based on her debate with Zach Costello, that if Erika didn't take it over, it would all crumble to the ground, that there would be no TPUSA left. No. In fact, I think the complete opposite. I think since she's taken over, it looks like it is kind of crumbling to the ground. It might dwindle on with some relevance and some influence for a little while, but I don't think it's ever going to be what it was under Charlie. And they had a full organization of young student leaders, like what we saw when Charlie and Andrew Colvett did that focus group with the TPUSA chapter leaders. They didn't have to pick one of those kids to run it. Shouldn't there have been some sort of apprenticeship program or bringing kids up from within? I'm sure there was. There's someone far better to lead and take over TPUSA than Erika Kirk. That alone. But also because she said her role was not to run a company. It was to raise those kids. And then we look at the statements like we're going to look at tonight, where she's lied time and time again. And they gaslight us and say, oh, it's just a mistake. People mix up where they've lived. No, they don't. I know everywhere I've lived at every point in my life, period. Maybe when they're 80, maybe when they're older and they start to mix up dates, mix up states and cities in your 30s. You don't remember 10 years ago? You don't remember living in China? You don't remember the statement that you lived in China? You don't remember that Charlie said you told him you lived in China? You don't remember you were on that Amazing Race audition with JT Massey that you lived in China? You don't remember saying that you pretty much locked yourself in a room for 8 months, then it was 6 months? And I'm starting to be very suspicious of this phrase she's used time and time again. And there is a weird tie to the Wizard of Oz and Hollywood. Technicolor. She's used this phrase when talking about her faith and reading the Bible, she's used this phrase when talking about that. She's also used this term when speaking about when she went to Philly and that the Bible came to life in Technicolor. I don't think we should underanalyze anything she says anymore. I almost believe so much of what she says has hidden meaning, means something else. It at least means something else to her. And I want to find out what that is. Let's get back to Candace.
Building upon that, we also did receive confirmation from basketball players at St. Regis that we were correct. She did not play in the 2008 to 2009 season, despite in the future, she's going to claim multiple times that she played at Regis for 2 years. She played basketball for 2 years. Well, I can show you this photo that we also gathered of Erika with her Regis University team members. This is taken in December of 2007, but she did not play. Regis University, like I said, her stats are still up. We could not find her in a newspaper. And now we have team members that are confirming that she did not play for the 2008 season. So the mystery remains, where was Erika hiding afterward for 8 months? Many of you guys thought that she went to have a baby. You guys are like, in my day, when someone went away for 8 months, it's because they got knocked up and they had to go away. And I've seen no evidence of that. I'm just sharing that because it was a repeat comment. I'm just going to keep following the facts and following Erika's words. And
that's not the only reason why someone would disappear from public life. Okay. If someone had any kind of major surgeries, you might be in recovery in your house. If you were doing any kind of really intense training or education. And I think it's interesting that she says during this 6 and 8 month, one time it's 6 months, one time it's 8 months process, that this is when she was reading the Bible from cover to cover. One time is once, multiple times it's different. It's like, oh my goodness, Erika. Nonetheless, this is part of her story about this time. What if she was receiving training at Fort Huachuca? We know now from Candace, and I can't wait to find out more this week, how the Tesseract School has a direct tie to Fort Huachuca. And that Fort Huachuca is also a specific place where they teach people how to be undercover Christians. Maybe part of their homework is to read the Bible from cover to cover multiple times. Maybe. That would be a good starting point. Maybe taking classes in the day as well for learning about the subculture within Christianity, lingo, phrases.
Sentiments that are shared. And regarding that year, someone sent us another clip of her verifying our timeline. So we are accurate. She goes missing in 2008 to, quote unquote, study the Bible, to see she didn't learn the Bible, as we showed you last week. She didn't learn because she was Catholic and they didn't really study the Bible. Then she got this time with her pastor's wife to just really learn everything. And she says then that it was for 8 months. Well, take a listen to her explaining this again on a different podcast called Don't Ignore the Nudge. Take a listen.
Like with Miss Arizona, I was so done with that world. It was very toxic. I loved my director.
You know what's great too, you guys? That Baron and Candace are hitting different parts of this, but they build on one another. They complement one another. And so we know that she wasn't actually done with this whole pageant life. We know that statement right there is a lie. Why is she lying so much? So anyone telling me I have no business asking questions, everyone give her a break, back off, you're slandering, you're attacking, you're gossiping. No, I could find just as many passages that say as Christians, we're supposed to call one another out. Yep. Right? Caught in sin. I don't know her publicly, personally, but this individual has a tremendous amount of power and influence. And she is caught time and time again, publicly lying about big things. That's a big deal. And because she's not just some Christian and she's not just Charlie's widow, because she's the CEO of a Christian organization, a political organization, an organization that works with youth, so college, but now moving into high schools and even wanting to move into elementary schools, we have every right to know exactly who she is. And if she lies, we have every right to point it out and ask her to explain. Notice that she's not been explaining anything. After her last appearance on the Make Heaven Crowded event tour at Greg Laurie's church, and then that Chicago high school appearance where they didn't allow any videos and cameras in, but thank goodness some kids filmed her, they've told her stay out of the public light. No more speaking engagements for you. She went to the State of the Union, but she didn't get up and speak. But even her behavior there was just bizarre. There's no other way to see the things that she does. It's just not normal.
The experience I had, but afterwards, it was one of those things where I was so sold out and focused on Christ that I didn't want anything from that past or that world to follow with me into the new season that I was about to enter into. And
lie. That's a lie. I wonder what she knew. I wonder what she knew about this new season she was about to enter into. Preparing to meet Charlie? Maybe becoming Charlie's wife? Could she be preparing for that? Or the eventual role as CEO of Turning Point?
so for me, it was all about I literally had locked myself in my room and read my Bible. And the only person I saw for 6 months was my pastor's wife. And I just had her pour into me. We would meet for lunch or coffee. And I didn't see any of my friends. I didn't do anything. I just was so focused on that.
Okay, you hear it again. This time she locked herself in her room. She's just focused on the Bible. Self-taught. I mean, how much of the Bible could you read if that was the only thing that you were doing for, she says 6 months there, 8 months on a different podcast, but it's Erika, so we're not going to hold her to anything consistent. 6 to 8 months. How much of the Bible could you read? And like I said, she presented to it like that was her aha moment. She finally got to have this experience with the Bible because she learned it for real this time. Well, you might assume that she then became familiar with the Bible, but when it comes to Erika, you should never make an assumption, because now we're going to fast forward to her telling Sage Steele the story about how she got acquainted with the Bible thanks to a Christian friend of hers, not in 2008, but in 2016. Take a listen.
The first time I ever read the Bible cover to cover was 2016, and it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. And that's when I started. So it was me and another friend, and I put together the Bible reading program, and I sent it to my friend. I said, do it with me. I was like, because I don't know what I'm doing, and you've been a Christian your whole life, and I just want to have an accountability partner. Like, please read this with me. 2016, finished the whole thing. It was a wild year. Wow. And after that, everything was in Technicolor, and I was like, I get it now.
Everything was in Technicolor, ladies and gentlemen. She uses that phrase often. People who are genuine and authentic don't do that. They just don't. Okay?
I get it.
That gives me
and it
chills.
made me, it's really interesting because then if ever I do go back to sit in the Catholic Mass, I'm like, Now I get the Catholic side even more now after having read the Bible. So I wish that there was more, because even when you go to confirmation class and like all the thing, it never, I just wish they would have, and some Catholic churches are great at this. Some Catholic high schools are great at this. Unfortunately, mine weren't as good from the standpoint of, great, get your own Bible and let's crack it open. It was never really like that.
I don't know. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's down. I don't, with Erika, it's just, you don't know what the story is. Like, you could say she didn't read it cover to cover in the first 8 months, but I would imagine she didn't need her friend and turn to a friend 8 years later and go, what am I doing? If she had 8 months to study the Bible with a pastor, I think a pastor would be better suited than a friend. I just don't know what is real with Erika. She gives me the vibe of someone whose brain has been rerouted. Like the pathways in her brain have been rerouted from the time that she's a child. Like, she just had to lie so much that she doesn't even recognize that what she's doing is lying. Like, she just says something and it's like, this is what works in this room, exactly as Elizabeth Lane described it. Yep. This is what works in this room. This is who I have to be. Okay, I'm sitting with Sage and I'm trying to now explain what brought me back to the Catholic thing. Like, maybe I need to be Catholic this week, or, maybe I need Protestant next week. So I said it at that podcast that I did it because I didn't have an appreciation for Catholicism. But now I'm saying that studying the Bible made me have an appreciation for Catholicism, which I wasn't getting. It's so all over the place. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know, other than someone who was programmed and has had to tell so many different stories that she can't really pedal backwards. She just kind of just keeps going and just keeps swimming and just keeps swimming. And what she's going to say.
That's funny. She's like Dory. She doesn't remember. Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, let's look at some other stuff, because the plot continues to thicken. Would you believe that Greg Laurie, Jack Hibbs, and Frank Turek are clearly all part of the psyop that's going on right now? And not just the one with Charlie and Erika and all that, but they're on the front lines of getting Christians to support this war in Iran and to support Trump. Yep. I'm exactly where Charlie was at. I'm done with the Protestant church, man. I'm done with these pastors that are blindly trying to lead their congregants in a political direction in support of a foreign country that is so corrupt that we have no business supporting. I just want my faith, religion, the Bible, and God. Yep, community. Yep, my family. But all this other stuff, I'm just done with it, man. Watching these three men speak, I get it. I'm done. I'll pull it up. This is Jack Hibbs. The title of this sermon is "The War Has Begun." Don't worry, we're not going to watch the whole thing. We'll just get a little taste of it.
We're going to dive into some things that we need to talk about regarding what has transpired. I don't have all that many headlines. We do have some videos, but what we want to do is cue this thing up. And before I show you some things, I want all of you to realize, please, don't let this moment pass. No matter what happens, no matter how it goes, one thing is certain. This weekend was an extremely historic weekend in the history of man. And that is not an exaggeration. In fact, maybe that might even be conservative. Many of you are not aware of the fact. Many of you have been born after 1979. But what happened yesterday and Friday, I should say, is something that people didn't expect to see in their lifetime. I hope you caught it. I hope you wrote it down. I hope you pulled out your Bible, for example, and maybe turned to Jeremiah 49 and wrote down the date. The date is significant. We'll see this in a moment. But there's a lot of people in the world today that are now in a state of shock and panic. Why? Ask yourself this question, why? Why would there be people around the world in a state of shock and panic? Think about this. Be thinking about as to why people have been dancing in the streets of nations.
Look, you guys, we live in a massive country. Iran's a massive country. Many different cities are on complete opposite ends of the political and religious spectrum. If something like what happened there happened here, we could equally see thousands of people in major cities cheering and thousands of people in other cities lamenting. That doesn't mean that the majority of the people in Iran are for what just happened. Those are just the cities that they're showing of cheering. And they show a couple of people lamenting the death of the Ayatollah. And I agree with Charlie. He wasn't a good guy. But Charlie also said, much like with Saddam Hussein, maybe he's the only person that could keep that country from completely falling into, for Iran, it's a 90 million person civil war. When you look at why they got rid of Gaddafi, it wasn't because he was a bad person. It had to do with international banking, not wanting a central bank, trying to keep the international finance community out of his country. They lie to us and tell us one story that fits their narrative, that tries to make them look like they're, and it's always the same thing. And Mark Levin said it the other, Tucker played it this morning. Weapons of mass destruction. We're bringing democracy. We're liberating the people. You guys, they said the same thing in Vietnam, except for the weapons of mass destruction thing, but the whole democracy, liberating the people. It's the same lie. What business do we have doing that anyway? I'll play a clip of Charlie where he was very clear on where our focus should be. Sorry.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Charlie Kirk Show.
Everybody, welcome back. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. By the way, there is you want to talk about, I got to talk about this for a second before we welcome back Dr. Said. I was just alerted that, so there is on Facebook a artificial intelligence advertisement.
I played the wrong clip. They're right next to each other. Okay, this is I'll play this in a second. Let me click the next clip. My bad, guys. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I pulled up the right clip now. Yeah, I did. All right, I got so many tabs up here.
We don't want, you never want a continent freeloading on another continent for their defense. It actually messes up the incentive structure. For example, they're like, oh, if America's paying for it, then this Russia-Ukraine war can keep on going. This is very basic incentives when it comes to foreign policy. It's good for us and it's good for them.
Yeah, and in fact.
And he said the same thing about Philly, you guys. All right. The same thing. This clip that I was going to show you guys was to bring up people back when he was still with us were using clips of him and using AI generated clips and was producing like commercials and things and pretending it was him. Can you imagine when TPUSA, Erika Kirk, and all them, if they could put in all of the videos that they have from Charlie, they could make any clip of him saying anything. And I don't know that we would be able to tell anymore, honestly.
Of me, which is totally fake, promoting some fake car insurance company that has 3 million views and a ton of people that are like clicking on the link and asking if it's real. This is dark stuff. I mean, it's super illegal. I've never heard of this company before. I never said anything about it. So they're
just imagine what TPUSA could do with everything that they have. I forgot the clips that I wanted to show you about Charlie talking about Iran and everything are in Philly are on my X. So here we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
The United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham. This is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with.
Oh, and this is Blake Bednard's. He posted this on X, and we're going to be doing a collab stream on Wednesday, so that'll be cool.
Nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas and has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many Jews left in Persia. But also you have secular younger Persians. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya. So I'm pointing to the first extreme right now, the neoconservative extreme. We must go take off the head of the snake right now. Play cut 285.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? It's time to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance.
Such a neocon warmonger, man. Not thinking about the American people and the young lives in both of those countries and ours that would be lost if a full-on war occurred.
Open peace.
Okay, that sounds good, but that's pathologically insane. I'm sorry, it is. How do you know it's going to be better? Yeah, the Ayatollah is awful, but maybe he's one of the few guys that can keep that country together and not have a 90 million person civil war. Lindsey Graham is so consistently out of his mind, it's hard to even comprehend. Iran is hugely diverse. It is a massive country. Do the people agitating for war even know that? Because be clear, regime change is war. Just to understand, regime change is not like changing the head coach at the Chicago Bears. It's not how it works. It's not like a clean transfer. Typically in the Mideast, it's very messy, creates a quagmire, and then there is civil war. Do you understand how large Iran is? It's massive. It's a very big country. It's mountainous. It makes Afghanistan and Iraq look like a cakewalk. Just look at this beast of a country with all the different regions, all the different dialects, if we could put that up on screen. And then you have a major refugee concern of Mohammedans that will come to Europe and endanger more Christians and Jews, and Mohammedans that will come to America. No, that is wrong. So that is one extreme. The other extreme is one that I have deep respect and reverence for, because I actually think if we had that other extreme, we would not have invaded Iraq. This other extreme is philosophically important. It's important to consider, and that's the Ron Paul extreme. And I love Ron Paul. Ron Paul is awesome. I would have Ron Paul on the show regularly. He is a hero because Ron Paul had the courage to challenge old sacred cows of the Republican Party. He made people defend the indefensible. But the Ron Paul perspective is strictly isolationist. I actually agree with a lot of this other extreme.
A lot. I miss Charlie, man. What a voice of reason. What a voice of reason. Where's the other one? So check this out. Look at how he felt about Philly, guys. Wait, is this the one with the music? I got to make sure it's not the one with music. Hold on. One of them has music. Let's see.
This is...
Hold on. Yep, that one has music. The one above doesn't. Here we go.
Real pushing for Iran. But is that America's problem?
Hold on.
Be honest, this is more of Israel pushing for Iran. But is that America's problem? That's a question. I mean, maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is, you know what? They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about Afghanistan. They were wrong about the Taliban. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong about the Arab Spring. They were wrong about Yemen. They were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula. They were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian. But hey, 10th time's a charm. This time we're actually right. Yeah, you're going to have to earn our trust on this one.
Yep. Keep the pressure up. Regime change in Iran would be a catastrophe. Okay. Those are his words. And you know what's really disgusting? I can't find it right now. I'd have to go back. Erika Kirk is allowing Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, and Andrew Colvett to get up on the Charlie Kirk show to play a spliced clip taken out of context of Charlie Kirk. And then they add in after. This is what Charlie would be doing right now. He would be supporting Trump. He would be for this war. Just unreal. Unreal. All right, there was one more I want to... Oh, wait, no. I know what I want to show you guys now. Hold on. Where is he? Here it is. Frankie.
Regardless of whether or not Israel is the same Israel as in the past, that's not even the point at this point.
Wait, what? If the Israel today, that Huckabee and all of the pro-Zionists are saying that they have a biblical claim to the land, you're saying it doesn't even matter if they are or not. Oh, okay. Okay. You're not even being consistent anymore. All right, let's continue, Frank.
Read the Hamas charter.
Oh. Fear-mongering. Just read the Hamas charter. Total not answering the question at all. Let's hear this student.
Just wondering, because I've heard a lot of it recently, especially with like the wars that are going on, about the Israel we have today that was declared in May 14th, 1948 as a country isn't the same Israel that God prophesized in the Bible. I was just wondering, like, what's your viewpoint on that?
I would ask them, why do they say that?
See, that's
when they make a claim, it's not your job to refute the claim. It's their job to support the claim.
Can you support the claim that they are the same? Can you support the claim that they are the same? Nope. Thanks for answering the question, Frank.
Okay.
So why do you say?
I don't believe it, but like I'm just like confused on how the idea.
Look at how he just talks to these young students, like he did to that young dude a couple weeks ago that I played. Unbelievable, Frank. Unbelievable. She walks it back a little because, I mean, that's intimidating. Look who we got here, guys. Greg Laurie.
Iran. What's going on over there? Big things are happening. Of course, the United States of America has responded to years and years of terrorist activity, and we've taken action, and the Ayatollah has been killed. This is a huge development. How are the people of Iran reacting? They're dancing in the streets. And around the world, people are celebrating. Why? Because this is a regime that has sponsored terrorism around the world for decades now through
And this is propaganda. And this is who Erika Kirk partners with. And this is the message that Erika Kirk and Greg Laurie and Jack Hibbs and Calvary Chapel and Frank Turek, who are all affiliated with Erika Kirk and TPUSA, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, Tyler Boyer, all of them. They all want you to have this. They're shoving this down Christians' throats and into their minds on Sundays. When Charlie himself said regime change would be a catastrophe. Don't get involved. We shouldn't listen to Philly. Their intel is bad. They haven't proven that we can trust them again. We shouldn't be defending and giving our ammunitions, giving our weaponry, our soldiers to a country that can't defend itself. And this isn't even about defending itself. This is about Philly attacking. They had to get Charlie out of the way. He was already, all last year, he's the one that cautioned Trump against full-scale invasion and war the first time. I think Bibi was pissed. Trump listened to him instead of Bibi. There's too many things that stack up against Charlie that at some point you really do have to be ignorant or stupid to not see that all of these external things have a lot to do with what was going on in Charlie's life and at least need to be investigated as potential motives. But you're a demon. You're a slanderer. You're a gossip. You're not a Christian for pointing these things out. You're an anti-Semite. They want to shut you down instead of refuting the claim, instead of debating the idea. Just name call, attack. I think they can't defend their position, and this is the only argument they have. So there's that. Let me go. Let's hear what Jack Hibb has to say here.
You would certainly take notes, but you would scan the QR code. There's going to be tons of information on the QR code, more than what we'll get to, I trust, in the notes tonight. So you're going to want to get that. A lot of it is headline news.
It's download his notes. Propaganda, you guys, about Iran, about everything, about Philly. And I wonder if scanning that QR code does something else to your phone. I emailed a couple people to ask if it could do that. If scanning a QR code could somehow, I don't know, do something else besides just download notes. I'll let you know what. I'm not a tech person, so I don't know. I just have it's a weird feeling. He wants everyone to scan this QR code. Scan this QR code. Scan this QR code.
Excuse me. But it's vital. Absolutely vital. I've got so much information that I'm going to ask you to forgive me in advance as I stumble through some things in a clumsy way to get that.
And those of you that don't know, Jack, okay, here, check this out too. Couple things. I lived there. Me and my family, we actually went to this church for years. I used to really look up to Jack Hibbs. I kind of grew up in the Calvary Chapel movement. I went to North Coast Calvary Chapel in Carlsbad and other Calvary Chapels. It's pretty big in that area in Oceanside and stuff. Southern California, Calvary Chapels are really big. because of surfing and everything. Calvary Chapel, Rancho Cucamonga, Chino Hills. So it's not like I have this vendetta against them. I don't. In fact, the opposite. A lot of my personal faith and journey, I have memories in Calvary Chapel. And not every pastor necessarily in Calvary Chapel is part of this. I can't make a blanket statement like that. But for sure, looking into Greg and looking into Jack and Frank, what's there is there, man. Jack Hibbs' brother, Butch Hibbs, is the guy with the beard and the flannel shirt and the hat, and maybe had something in his pocket, maybe the road mic. We don't know yet. Never had been at an event before, was there that day. Just so happened on August 25th, a flight flew out of his hometown, Butch Hibbs' town, flew into Tennessee on the day that the Accurate Energetics contract was done and that technology was ready to be picked up. It's just speculation. No one has concrete proof, but a lot of people that have looked at this, whether that be Barron or John Bray, find that suspicious. At least somebody in government, somebody in the FBI and local police or something could ask him, could look into it, could investigate it. Nope.
Piece of headline or that data in regards to what we're looking at. But getting it started, it is important that we remember this. The very theme verse. Don't ever forget this. Memorize this verse. Write it down. Keep it always for a lot of reasons. John 14:29 is where we'll start every.
It doesn't happen till way later, and I didn't write the timestamp down, so that's on my bad. But look, so as of Friday, Saturday, we're involved in this war in Iran because of Philly. And right away, in unison, Greg Laurie and Jack Hibbs alone, I haven't looked at other Calvary Chapel pastors on Sunday, all came out with a unified message about this and about what they want their congregants to take away from it and to support this regime change and to support Trump and to support this war and to support Philly. I'm just not okay with that. I'm not. Maybe others are. I'm not. I'm really not. But check this out. So do you guys remember don't worry, I'm taking him off of there. Do you guys remember in Barron's live tonight, he talked about Erika Kirk being in Denver, Colorado, and not really being on the team but being signed up, but not really, like, people not really accounting for her when she's there. I didn't really have a lot of time to deep dive into anything, but I mean, just a quick Google search. I'll show you something that I found that's interesting. So let me make sure this is on the page. I'll make it bigger for you guys and then I'll zoom in. All right. All right. So my question was, what intelligence schools, training, or networks are in Denver, Colorado? Denver, Colorado serves as a significant hub for national security, defense, intelligence operations, particularly regarding aerospace, cyber, which those two, her family has ties to aerospace technology and cyber, okay, and space intelligence. The last one, I don't think there's any real connections with her family and her in space intelligence. But the area hosts a mix of federal agencies, specialized military units, and private defense contractors, concentrated heavily around Buckley Space Force Base in Aurora and the greater Denver metropolitan area. Okay, and then it goes into all the different ones. Colorado Information Analysis Center, a state fusion center that gathers, analyzes, and disseminates threat information to public and private stakeholders. Interesting. Denver Police Spy Files and Intelligence Unit involves multi-agency group intelligence conferences, magic, to monitor threats. And there's others. And then there's the academic intelligence schools and programs. And definitely, if anyone wants to start going down rabbit holes, I'm going to be going down these, right? The Yosef Korbel School of Global and Public Affairs. That sounds right up her alley. Her Juris Masters offers a certificate in strategic intelligence and international security master's programs that covers defense and security methods. Okay. And many others that we could all look into. There's just a lot. And then there's military defense intelligence training. Okay. And she has ties to different military and different intelligence groups over her time. And what do you know? Her family does have connections to Raytheon, major contractors, key companies with major intelligence-focused roles in Denver. Raytheon. Her family has ties to Raytheon. Lockheed Martin. Yep. I don't know about this one, but and the CEL, which is Counterterrorism Education Learning Lab. That's interesting. Located in Denver. This provides education and training on national security issues to first responders and the public. And then data analysis, specialized training. But anyway, this is something I'll definitely be looking more into in the coming days and weeks. And if anyone wants to help out, be my guest and email me at theblacklinebrief@gmail.com. All right, let's see. There's a couple other things I wanted to show you on here just because I think it's important to stay up to date with what is going on. I think Tucker is such an important person to be listening to and watching. Let me find his most recent. I like this one by Blake. We're going to be doing the live together on Wednesday. Blake's like, send Baron. He's in military uniform. Man, he's tall. Let me show. Where is it? Oh, check this out. This repeatedly attacked. This was interesting when comparing Iran and Philly. Who has really complied to international requirements and which country hasn't? Okay. Let's listen to this guy. He's got a lot to say. And this is Avi Shlaim, Israeli historian.
Iran has never attacked a neighbor. Israel has repeatedly attacked its neighbors. Iran signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Israel has refused to sign. Iran submits to inspection by the International Nuclear Energy Agency. Israel refuses to submit. Iran has no nuclear weapons. Israel has between 75 and 400 nuclear weapons. So Israel poses an existential threat to Iran. For the last 40 years, Israel has conducted a systematic campaign of disinformation about Iran. Why the lies? Why the double standards? Why the hypocrisy?
Yep. You see that guy's smug face? Right? Couldn't dispute anything.
I'm not guessing about this.
But just a smug face, you know? Let's listen to what Tucker has to say about Bibi going around to other countries in the Middle East and in Europe, outright bragging that he owns and controls Trump and the United States of America and its politicians. Okay? Tucker himself. Let's go, Tucker.
Bibi's running around. This is a fact. I'm not guessing about this because I talked to people he said it to. Is running around the Middle East, his region, and his own country and telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States. I control Donald Trump. He's saying that. And I dare them to say that's not true. Bibi, not the nation of Israel, not Israelis, and certainly not Jews, whatever that means. The leader, the secular prime minister of a country is doing immense harm to Donald Trump's presidency, to the United States, and to the world. This is an unbalanced person whose only real concern is for himself. He's meddling in an extensive way in American politics. He's loathed by the entire world. He needs the United States. And yet at the same time, he has this patronizing attitude toward Donald Trump, demeaning Trump to people Trump knows, separating from Bibi immediately, I think is an essential next move. But objectively, that is absolutely necessary and very soon, because he is hurting his own country, our country, and the world, period.
100%. 100%. Yeah. All right. There's other ones I could show, but I'm not going to just keep playing those clips. You guys can go over to my X and just scroll through if you have an X. Let's get to some super chats. And if other people can't do a super, but just want to throw, we have a smaller group tonight. So, I mean, I'd love to just interact with you guys. I truly love all of you guys. This community is so cool. Everyone give it up for Renita Sophia and 44 Glen Coco, 2 new mods. Okay. Woo. Welcome to the team on the team, the team. All right, let's see. We got Renita Sophia. I'm in cybersecurity. The QR code is absolutely, I knew it. Oh my gosh, Renita. I had a feeling. I emailed Danks because when I saw that and I was like, what? Like, he couldn't have just printed out notes. He couldn't have just posted notes. He couldn't have said, go onto the website and download the notes. He's like, do this QR code. Everyone, do this QR code. You have to scan this QR code. I was like, this is weird. And then you take into account everything that Philly is doing through all the Calvary chapels are on that FAR filing, all of them. Okay, the FAR filings. And if people missed that episode where I went over, or if you haven't seen Danks's episodes on it, I can do another one. And we could just look at the very last page, which it tells every church, every Christian university that is part of this campaign that's partnering with the foreign ministry of Philly and allowing them to collect data on their congregants, surveil their congregants, geo-track and cache their congregants, and then send them propaganda. And then Danks did an even better job that once your phone goes into a church that is part of this, it doesn't end there. Your phone now is infected with the virus, and everywhere you go to your home, it Bluetooth handshakes your other devices, your family's devices, your coworkers' devices, restaurants, anywhere you go. And your phone will now communicate with other devices in the area and infect them as well. And it's just a virus, and it's just exponential. So, yeah. So it's absolutely a Trojan horse. Cyber attacks increase with war, so be mindful with emails, texts, links, QR codes. Thank you, Renita Sophia. Glad you're on our team. All right, let's see. At Kindness, I love you said Cali. I'm born and raised and had trolls yelling at me that no Californian would say Cali. I said Cali all the time. I'm from Oceanside. I went to Vista High School, and then I was stationed at Camp Pendleton. My wife is also from there. We met at Beach Break Cafe in Oceanside, and then our first date was at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Now I think it's called the San Diego County Fair, but when I grew up, it was called the Del Mar Fairgrounds. But yeah, I said Cali all the time. What's that song? That's Biggie. I'm going back to Cali. Everyone says Cali. What are you talking about? All right, I agree. Renita Sophia says, and they're building digital profiles on everyone. Yes, they are, Renita. Yep. Danks can do that. That's his gifting. He's skilled in that. I've only tried to cover that just to help. Ian's done a great job and Danks has done a great job. I'm sure others have as well, but those two are way more technologically savvy than me and way better in that arena. But I felt it was important enough to cover it anyway. And so I did do my best. But yep, it's insane. And all the AmFest events, all the TPUSA events. And in fact, on September 10th was the first event they were doing it on. And then all the Make Heaven Crowded event tours. Yep. Pretty disgusting. Glen Coco, yes, we were. Still always remember that. Had to hit the North Pole and watch NORAD tracker. I don't know what that one's about. I missed the previous. Turn Bluetooth off if you don't need it. Yes. Oh man, I tell my wife that anyways. Like I'm religious about when you leave, turning your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth off. My wife's not good at remembering to do that. But yeah, please, everyone turn that off when you're not absolutely using it. And be careful when you're using it out in public. Let's see. I read that one. Thank you, Cynthia. Yes. Oh, can everyone that is here please hit the like and subscribe? I bet you guys already did. You guys are all ride or die diehards. Thank you. Let me hit the refresh and see. Let's see where we're at. Oh, we got 59, but we got 107 people here. Come on, guys. Hit the like. It's the best way to support the channel. Let's see. The White House is doing tracking as well under the White House page here on YouTube. Interesting. I wonder if when you click on, if everyone clicks on those depositions, right? The Leslie Wexner deposition, or now the Clinton depositions. I wonder if when you click on that, it does anything. I don't know, because I guarantee you thousands and if not millions of people are going to be clicking on that. We all want to see. Hillary was so smug. It was so disgusting watching her. She is so seasoned. If anyone's going to mess up, it's Bill. If anyone's going to slip up, it's Bill. And so, I mean, I watched as much as I could of her, but she is just so arrogant and smug. And she's like, I can't believe you have me here. This is so ridiculous. She attacks the committee that's doing the deposition. I mean, they have such disdain for us. It's unreal. And Trump's defending these two. They're my friends. Okay. Birds of a feather flock together. What can I say? All right, we got another one. We got Mystic gifting super sticker. Thank you, Mystic. You're the best. You're the best. All right, let's see. Cynthia's going, good night. Good night, Cynthia. Anyone who wears glitter is automatically rejected from the Black Line crew. Yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Keep focusing. Yes, turn Bluetooth off, but there are even ways they can turn it on without you knowing. Yep, that's what Dank said. Yeah, I know. It's insane. To those who are leaving, good night. Oh, American Lynn. Yes, to those who are leaving, good night. Sleep tight. Just checking, making sure everything's good on the back end of things. Let's see. No doubt we're nearing too close to Minority Report. Yeah, we are. You did great. They did very in-depth coverage. Maybe we can have a simplified version for non-tech people. That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. I'm a non-tech person, but I understood everything that Ian and Danks explained. And maybe I could do one and put it in my own words. And maybe that helps people that are not technologically, gifted or savvy. I think that would be a good idea. Because also, too, like they did that. But what I've noticed, too, with videos, it's like the real opportunity for people to watch videos is like when they come out. Some people do go back and watch older videos, but the majority of people don't. And so they're going to probably get lost in the shuffle of all the new content that those two produce. Let's see. Unfortunately, I wear CGM, so my Bluetooth always has to be on. Oh, I need my Wi-Fi. Yeah. That's the other thing. We're also dependent on everything, and they know that. Candace was right to tell everyone to stop their children from enlisting in the military. Yeah, Zebra. So she was attacked for that. And I spoke about that the other night. I was in the military, but you know what? I joined in 2005. All right. We didn't know that the whole weapons of mass destruction and all of that was a lie yet. We didn't know the 9/11 truth movement. We didn't know that it was going to be our generation's Vietnam. You know, most veterans that served in Iraq and or Afghanistan all agree. They lied to us, why we were there, what we were doing. So many people died on both sides, innocent people on both sides. And yeah, these elites sign us up. Their kids are not fighting in these wars. They're not fighting in these wars. They signed our country up and us up to go fight these wars and die for them. And I agree. She's not saying like down with America. She's not saying down with people that are in the military, like, you know, the average, you know, soldier or Marine or seaman or cadet in the Air Force. She's saying that the high up leaders don't really care about all of us. They get us into these wars. They don't have anyone dying, and we end up dying for them. And for that, I agree. We shouldn't support a war, especially when Trump lied and said he ran on no foreign wars, no new wars. And here we are a year later in a massive war that has the potential to be WW3 if China and Russia get involved. Or if we get far enough in, they know that our stockpiles and our munitions, like we're depleted because of Ukraine and because of us helping Philly. We don't have the ability to actually go to any sustained war, you know, especially with a country that's 90 million, that has a legitimate military. The size of it is massive. It's not flat like Iraq. Okay. It's not, you know, Afghanistan's harder. The mountainous terrain is more difficult than Iraq. But Iran, bro, there's a reason why it was hard for countries across history to invade Iran. Just go look it up on Google Maps. I could even do that right now. Watch this. Let's look at it. I'm not the only one that's looked this up. It's like protected itself. And you know what else I noticed? Why doesn't it give me the outline? Let's zoom out. There we go. All right. So also what I noticed, you guys, look what's on both sides of Iran. Look at what's on both sides of Iran. Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah, other countries as well. But I mean, we were here and we were here and now we're here. I mean, they had to know something was coming, you know. We were getting involved over there and they knew it was BS and lies. But look, so these are massive, massive mountain ranges. Huge. There's no just straight, you know, easy path in, you know, no place to, I mean, I guess, you know, what their argument is that we already have bases here. We have bases all around. But still getting in itself for any kind of ground invasion poses a real difficulty, massive challenge. You know, this has the potential to be a very, very prolonged and dirty and bloody war. So I'm way behind. Okay, Gypsy did that one. Let me scroll down. Let's see. I use meditation to fall asleep. It helps, much. I don't use it every time, but most of the time. Yeah, I do. I do all sorts of things. I listen to things that calm me down. There's a thing called HemiSync, which is really cool. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of HemiSync. It's really cool, but that helps like you fall right to sleep. Let's see. Hey, Matt, do you think CK was Candace's handler? No, Cynthia. If you go watch my video, my breakdown of Wolves and Finances video from yesterday, nope, not at all. Nope. And in fact, I took a lot of heat for that video, and it hasn't done that great, but I'm not the only one that has come out against most of what Wolves and Finance put forth in that video. Really, the only thing that I think Barron and others agree with is that, Charlie maybe knew more about some of the things, financial issues within TPUSA than we thought at first. And that there clearly was a military operation that was part of taking out Charlie. And yeah, I think we already knew that though. Let's see. There was another one that I saw directed towards me. The world is saying USA cannot win this war. I care about you guys, but I despise. I agree, Alka. No, I don't think we can win this war either. I don't know the purpose of it yet, but I don't think if we couldn't win Iraq and Afghanistan, we couldn't win Vietnam. Okay, this has the potential to be way worse. Let's see. I saw another one. We need exactly not their film. Okay. ASMR helps. Yeah, that helps to fall asleep too. Tay Rye Mom, you said, what's that, Matt? Can you say that again? Like, what do you mean? What's what? What's what, Matt? What is the objective with this war now? It's no longer regime change. So now what? Yeah, and it was never, regime change was just a part of it. If you guys look at all the stuff that Tucker has done recently about Iran, I think he is more, educated in this and read up in this than I could ever be. And there's a lot of strategic, oil, natural gas, refineries, the international markets. It's where the crude oil price is set every day. Tucker said we could see $1 increase at the pump soon. What did we do? They said it was regime change in Venezuela, but then we took over the oil and the gas and the refineries and the rare earth minerals. Venezuela, there's a lot of resources there that I think that's really what was wanted. So, yeah. Let's see. These are over 4,000-year-old countries that have survived. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. I want to get down. Okay, I don't think anyone can handle. No. I don't think so either. Good to know your thoughts on that, Matt. Oh, okay. Did I explain? I answered your question, Tay Rye Mom. I have a little naked sphinx who helps me fall asleep. Glenn Coco, everyone loves you. You crack everyone up. So a hairless cat, right? You have a hairless cat, a sphinx, a hairless sphinx. There's no measurement of success. There's no strategy to exit, aimlessly sending our people to war. Yep. Let me click on this. We got Julia Pierce 369. You rock, Matt. Thank you for all the knowledge and energy you bring us. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that. Kindness is great. Laugh out loud. Yeah, we're cool with that. Let's see. Cynthia, you watched the Wolves and Finance video today. Watch my breakdown of it. Watch. A lot of people didn't really say anything about it. I think other people ended up doing one today. I did mine immediately, and I'm not gonna. I agreed with most everything else he's done up to this point. So, I don't have any issue with Zach. I really like most of his stuff. Barron at the end of his live yesterday pretty much said what I said. This didn't mean anything except for it was a meme, and it also was like something Trump did. And so Tyler and Charlie doing this is not the same as those images. And Candace, I don't think there's any evidence that Charlie was Candace's handler at all. I don't think Charlie is involved to the degree in which Zach was implying. Yeah. And in fact, I think after Barron's live today, how much he was duped, we all were duped by Trump. We're not stupid people. Charlie was a diehard believer, a true believer, based on the first term. And Charlie didn't have a lot of access to Trump in the first term. He only knew what we've seen publicly and what he had heard. So, I watched a thing with Josh Hammer and Charlie. They're not close. Charlie didn't even know how old Josh Hammer's kids were, and vice versa. They did a stream together over the summer. These people were associated through like affiliate people. They knew each other who knew each other, but they didn't really they didn't know stuff about Erika. Like when he said that whole thing that Erika's family was part of the Lombardi family, that's Mikey McCoy, Tyler Boyer, and Andrew Colvett are there in that. And none of them knew. No one knew a lot about Charlie and Erika. Okay. And Charlie didn't know a lot about these people's personal lives. Everyone's assuming that because they worked together a lot, that everyone knew everything about everyone, and they didn't. Charlie didn't even know how old Josh's kids were. I'll find the video some other time and I'll show you guys. And that was just over the summer. They were like work associates. Okay. It's not like they all knew everything. Okay, Matt, I read that. You skipped this earlier. Let me introduce myself to you, Matt. My name is Buffy. Hi, Tay Rai. Am I saying that right? Tay Rai Mom. But you go by Buffy? Welcome. Nice to meet you, Buffy. I'm Matt. Let's see. Alcarite. It cracks me up when people say George is her hand. It's so ridiculous. It really is. You know, it's so ridiculous. Oh, you know what I want to show? Let's see if I can show this. Let me find it. I don't know at what point in the video it is, but I'm going to try and see if... Let's see. I'm going to share. And I was speaking with Mystic about this. All right. Look, this is just my personal opinion. I like Barron. Okay. His lack of position on what Jesse on Fire has been doing, it does concern me. I get that Barron has said multiple times, because he had John Goodman on, and John Goodman attacked Blake Bednards all over the internet. He made like these fake mugshots of Blake, and there was this whole public tiff. And Barron's really against that because he's like, we should all be working together and not infighting. Okay. I mean, that's if we're all working together. Well, I don't agree with infighting in period. Okay. But Jesse on Fire has publicly said he thinks it's not like a rift or anything. He thinks Charlie's alive. He thinks Charlie's running all of this from behind the scenes. He's doing his whole manufactured martyr thing to get Candace and Barron and others to stop investigating and attacking Erika and TPUSA because he thinks that she's a daisy and that they're all just so innocent and could never do anything to hurt Charlie. So his goal in doing it is to shut us down, but also to defend Erika and TPUSA. That is his publicly stated goal. He says it in his videos when he does it. That's why he's doing it. And he publicly has stated he thinks Charlie would be running this psyop from behind the scenes and would be lying to all of us. And so it also attacks Charlie's character, and that bothers me. And Barron did say before he said little on it, but what he has said, I think, is good to note, that by Jesse doing this, it is going to have the same effect as the whole QAnon thing. It gets people to become apathetic, in this case, to the Charlie Kirk assassination, and to completely stop investigating and looking into it and watching, because if people are led astray, like, oh, Charlie's alive. In fact, Charlie's alive and well, and he's running this, people are like going to be done with it all. And so he doesn't like that. But yesterday in Barron's live, he said, well, because he played Jesse's video, which didn't really point. And I talked to Mystic about this. Look, I get that we wanted to point out that this dude, David, the dude, USA dude, had military ties and ties to potentially a foreign government. And that's what this attempted to do, but it didn't prove it. Okay, those tweets with the cipher and playing Jesse's video that cracked the cipher, all it did was further imply and allude of some sort of connection to military and to a foreign government. There was no proof. It just kind of laid that out there, which we already assumed that. I thought, based on what Barron said he was doing all week, that Sunday was going to change the investigation into who killed Charlie Kirk. It didn't bring anything really new. It didn't say that this dude has a part in the assassination. It said that it kind of just showed that this dude had military ties and is very suspicious, has ties to Philly and a foreign government, which we all kind of figured already. But he also said, in talking about Jesse's series, Jesse has never said what Barron said publicly, and Barron kind of gave him an out. And he's like, I think what Jesse's really trying to do is point out that it's easier to believe in this whole Charlie's alive thing than in the Fed slop narrative. I don't think that's Jesse's intent at all. Jesse has never said that once, not once, that is what his intent is. And in fact, he's stated the complete opposite, that he's been very clear about what his intent is for doing this, and that he 100% believes that Charlie is alive and that Charlie faked his death. So, having said that, Jesse in his video states that his right-hand man used to work for the FBI, and in fact was third from the top in the FBI, and that Jesse has direct connections, and people already thought that Jesse had Fed connections and maybe was a Fed plant. Well, I don't know why Jesse said this publicly, because maybe he thinks everyone's just going to not question him. To me, it made me go alarm bells. Okay, you're number one dude that did this cipher with you and everything. He worked 30 years in the FBI and has connections still to the FBI. And he's your right-hand guy. And now that means you have connections to the FBI, and the FBI under the Democratic administration was completely corrupt, and the FBI under this administration is completely corrupt. So, I mean, all that did was raise more concerns and questions for me. And I don't know how it didn't for anyone else. Well, let's see if this is the beginning of the clip or not. Let's see, because I don't know if I wrote it down. Let's see where this is at in the clip.
Give this to the FBI as the preface.
Let's see.
Well, I'm going to be running you guys through a brief of the threat that we may have uncovered here through a cipher that was decoded, and I'll show you literally from the beginning to the end exactly how we got to where this was important enough that we needed to bring it to the FBI. So what we're going to be showing you is something that was decoded leveraging artificial intelligence. I realize how absurd that sounds. Trust me.
We heard
I really appreciate him bringing it to me, because it could have been bad, man. Like, he brought it to me. I took it up the ladder. We got permission, so it was fine. But it could have not been that, and
I don't know how.
I appreciate it. So thank you, Baron.
Because it was after the fact. This incident occurred back in November of 2025. We're now in February, now in March. I don't know how it could have been bad. The whole thing was supposed to happen last October and November.
I appreciate you, dude. I owe you one. Oh, in traditional Jesse on Fire fashion, after recording the video, I realized I was going to show the briefing that went to the FBI at the end, which makes no sense. So you are about to watch the full video of the briefing that we made that went to the absolute tippy top of the FBI, to their head of national security. So I will show you guys that right now. You guys can take a look at that, and then I'll give additional context at the end, and then we will talk much more about this during a Tuesday night live stream. So look for that Tuesday live stream. I will be talking about this. And again, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear, if for no other reason, for legal reasons, okay? I have no idea, no way of proving whether this guy was involved in anything at all, other than posting some very weird stuff on X, okay? Weird stuff, and then weird enough that when we were given a cipher code, or a cipher key, it seems to have decoded a bunch of really, really scary stuff. And one of those specific threats ended up actually nearly happening in Los Angeles, at the Port of Los Angeles, which is one of the identified areas on the exact date that was uncovered.
Right, but what did any of this have to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination, though? That's the other thing. Like, what did this have to do with anything
in the code? But for the record, I'm not saying that this guy was for sure involved in anything. But I'm going to show you right now the briefing that went to the FBI, the cipher code, everything that they saw, and then I will give you a lot of additional context afterwards. Who else was involved? Valhalla VFT was involved. He's the first one that I brought this to. My investigator, Chris Byhota, and Chris Byhota, the retired FBI agent, who was a division chief, which is third in command in the entire bureau. And yeah. And then we will talk more about.
I'm glad I found it. Is that not bizarre to anyone else? And, like Valhalla, I mean, and Valhalla and Gary and Jesse and Gary, they all talk to each other. They're friends. And Gary said on his own show, he's like, and he played one of Jesse's videos, and he's like, Jesse believes that Charlie Kirk's alive. And Gary's like, I don't have any problem with that. Totally fine. Yeah, because it seeks to paint Erika and TPUSA in a good light and to exonerate them from having anything to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Blah. How am I the only person that's like, I don't know. All right. Let's see if anyone. Oh, I'm so far behind on the comments. Let's see. I'm caught up on the supers. It'd be super hard for me to go back through all the comments right now. Fed Holla. Yeah. Fed Fire too. Fed Jesse on Fire too. Yeah. I just started watching Nick recently since Charlie. He had great speech right after. Nick who? Oh, Fuentes? I don't know which Nick. Case closed, everyone. Jesse solved it, right? Right. That's why I look at Erika very strangely. Yeah, agreed. So soaked you found Matt's channel. You're a great addition to the crew. I agree. God bless you and yours. We're so happy you're part of the fam. Yes. Detective Jesse on the case. Jesse definitely wrong about Erika, hands down. A lot of podcasters are friends on the outside and purposely are opposing for views, like Tatum and Candace. I mean, I don't know that Candace has talked a lot about Tatum in a long time. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, Tatum opposes Candace. I don't know that Candace is. Yeah, I don't know. All right. I know I don't watch Officer Tatum. All manipulation tactic. Yes, Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I mean, another one that I liked that people are really attacking right now is, and I mean, I don't like him like as a person, but someone that I watched recently on the Pierce Morgan show, which I did like, though. I liked his, and it just shows like,
people on Instagram.
it shows what a joke. So it's, I think Dan Balzerian, what a joke Pierce Morgan is. And all he results to is just calling an anti-Semite, calling him an Nazi, when really he just says a lot of the things that Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes had said, not anything like super crazy that could be misconstrued. No, he's just saying things about like history and facts about Philly. And of course, Pierce just ad hominem attack.
Just to say, well, I read somewhere there were no rapes. Balzerian, known to millions of people as the king of Instagram, and says that life is behind. Interviewed you 4 years ago, we'd have had a very different interview. You're at the height of your kind of hedonistic Instagram life. There were women everywhere, yachts everywhere. So now you're down to just one woman.
The earth and with pleasure. I think you like a video game that I beat. And
things about that war. But before we get there, I just want to just explore a little bit more your decision to kind of renounce the king lifestyle.
Oh my goodness.
Amount of money. And yet you kind of, what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, I've pretty much stopped posting on Instagram. I haven't posted much.
It's all
7,000.
Well, I mean, you have, you know, I mean, Nakba, there was, you know, what, 15,000 people killed during Nakba. I mean, there was that got displaced. And then you've got, well,
we're out lauding him as a hero. You know, to most people, he's the despicable head of a terrorist organization that perpetrated on October the 7th one of the worst terror attacks in modern history. What's heroic about that?
Well, I think when you look at it in a vacuum, it's a very different picture. It's kind of like if I, you know, raped your mother and I kicked you in the nuts 3 times and then you punched me in the face and everybody just wanted to focus on you punching me in the face. I think that would be a very different conversation than when you looked at it, you know, the whole of what happened. And the whole of what happened was Nakba. You know, that's where it started. You have 750,000 Palestinians that got displaced. And then you've got multiple, you know, acts of terror, in my opinion, on Israel's side that would make October 7th look like nothing. So to me, I think it was a retaliation. And I think that.
Yeah, but yes, we can see. I mean, we could see Charlie's nipples on the day of September 10th, too. He was wearing a white thin shirt. But don't let that distract you. Go back and watch this video. I think Dan does a great job of articulating the stance that we all have right now on Philly. And Pierce just is such a good little goyim. Good little goyim. You know, like a Huckabee. It's ridiculous. All right. You guys are funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, the one I've recognized. Let's see. I came across this channel on the weekend and I'm very grateful. I found this community and I'm very impressed with all the content shared in regards to Charlie. Thank you one time, 210. Yeah. I think the thing I'm most proud about is the community. So, me too. Hey guys, we're at an hour and 45 minutes and I am pooped. I still need to go eat and shower and get ready for bed. If there's any last comments or questions, speak now or hold your peace until tomorrow. Let's see. Best community on YouTube. I agree. I did not know that about. Oh, that was about the Kurds. Okay. Yeah, Mystic is amazing. She said, welcome to the community. We're so glad you're here and hope you keep coming back. Yeah, and Wednesday is going to be an amazing live collab with Blake Bednards, and we're going to get into some real deep stuff with the Charlie Kirk assassination and investigation. I'll post that link as soon as I can with a thumbnail so that you guys can save the date and time. If there's nothing else for now, God bless you guys. Get a good night's sleep. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Thank you for your support. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. God bless you guys. Have a good night.